character on Destiny once said, success is what it sounds like he says. I mean, pretty sure he's supposed to be saying success, but it's not exactly what he says.
Oh, you,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, hey folks, as Jim here, who's on the stream with me this time, in my ear, just thought of a moment ago, I guess this is the part where we are starting up the spiel. See, at least I gave him credit for it. So, I am Nathan P. Butler. This is my YouTube channel. This is the Star Wars Battlefront Livestream podcast. Podcast not because you're getting it as an MP3 through your podcatching software, but instead because it's more like a vodcast, perhaps. It is a live stream where the focus is on the conversation with a guest that I might have, commentary over a game, or, more often than not, conversation with those who happen to be in the chat at the time, including some regulars who pop in pretty frequently lately. I, of course, am Nathan P. Butler. This is, again, my YouTube channel. You'll find stuff here like from the Star Wars Home Video Library with a new episode that just got released on the 7 reissues of Star Wars Home Video releases that just hit Walmart this week. You'll find things like Fantasy Flight Games, product reviews and product overviews. There'll be a new set of those, actually, for all of the Wave 12 and 13 stuff for X-Wing that just arrived at my doorstep today, either sometime later tonight or sometime early tomorrow. I'm also the guy behind the Star Wars Timeline Gold, the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere at 3,100 pages that has been going on for 20 years, which you can find at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. I am also a podcast host or co-host doing Cloud City Casino with Michael Morris and Star Wars Beyond the Films with Mark Herleman, both at StarWarsReport.com. Cloud City Casino is a gaming podcast. We've been doing shows recently about Battlefront 2 if you want to check those out, and we did an episode on Inferno Squad recently for Star Wars Beyond the Films. I am also the author of A Saga on Home Video. I kid you not, I get to hold it up. A Saga on Home Video, a fan's guide to U.S. Star Wars home video releases, which you can find on Amazon in the U.S. or your region. And just recently contributed to A More Civilized Age, exploring the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which is edited by Rich Handley and Joseph F. Baranato, which has a foreword by Timothy Zahn and an afterword by yours truly. So, yes. Finishing up the spiel. Joining me this time, though, for the second stream of the day, I took about a half-hour, 45-minute break there. Joining me is a guy you heard recently also on the Battlefront Livestream podcast, and that is Indiana Jim, Jim Perry, from the Star Wars Survival Guide, among other projects, and that long-incoming codename Starkeeper 2 sometime soon, maybe? Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Late as always, better than never, right?
Hey!
That sequel has only taken, 9 years to really get to.
You're going to reach the point where you're going to have a Lucas-type gap, like a Return of the Jedi to Phantom Menace-sized gap.
Well,
but that's okay, because then you won't turn around and add rocks.
Yeah. I always planned on a 9-year delay, and then it turned into like a 12-year delay, and but then I decided, I wasn't doing any more, and then
I only ever said that I was only going to make 6, not that someone else couldn't make more.
Right?
Who are you kidding? What are you going to believe?
Right.
Me and my quotes, or what I'm telling you now? Oh shit. Anyway, welcome in the chat, JL back from the earlier stream, EK back from the earlier stream coming from Australia, and Veda also popping in here. With me, though, this is Jim Perry that you're hearing, again, from Star Wars Survival Guide, which is actually, given the premise of that podcast again, because I actually think it's a very cool premise of the way that you're using Star Wars for sort of a bigger purpose to some degree. Tell us a little bit about the podcast here while I go and claim my Kylo Ren thing that somehow I got as a milestone last play session without realizing that I got it.
Okay, well, back in the day when you were doing Chrono Radio and there were only 3 or 4 Star Wars podcasts at the time,
2002-ish.
It was right. It was easy to separate oneself. But then, when I finally got around to getting back into podcasting with any kind of intent, I was really just trying to look for a clever name because so many good names were taken, and number one, it's a takeoff of my friend T. Morris, who one of the co-writers of Podcasting for Dummies, one of the first authors to podcast a full-length unabridged novel in 2005 called Moravi, The Chronicles of Rafe and Ascana.
But wasn't he also one of the early contributors to, or was he perhaps the founder of Podio Books? I remember he was tied to Podio Books.
Yes,
which I had some stuff on at one point.
Evo Terra, and I think I want to say Steve Riekeberg was part of the group. He did the code for it, perhaps. They were the founders of Podiobooks.com, and so he did a podcast called The Survival Guide to Writing Fantasy, which was about his exploits as an author and everything else. So anyway, it was kind of take off of that, but also when I started thinking about, well, what am I going to really do with this? Stop sticking the phone in my face. My son is watching the YouTube stream, and he can't believe
he can't believe he's here.
I'm on a YouTube stream or something, and he keeps sticking it in my face like I don't know what's going on here. I think he just wants to get his contribution mentioned.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's young people though. My nephews are all like, "Oh my God, you're YouTube famous." I'm like, don't you like anything else that I've done? No, you're YouTube famous. I'm like, oh, okay, right. I'm not even YouTube famous, but okay, right. You can hear me.
So the kind of what I've settled on is either looking at life through the lens of Star Wars and how it reflects on current events or things we're going through, or surviving Star Wars itself, with all the different controversies and social issues that come up from it. And I try not to be too terribly serious most of the time, because that will bore me if I don't do something funny, but every now and again. So, anyway, that's... and potentially rants where I disagree with certain segments of fandom, like everybody who was whining about the loot boxes.
Oh, see. Well, see, I'm an econ teacher, so I was able to take an approach at the loot boxes that was a little bit different. We're going to delve into that some more on the next, like our last Cloud City Casino, or I guess 2 ago, was all the controversies, and then EA couldn't stop screwing up, so we had to cover a little bit at the beginning of the new one, which is all about the campaign. And next we get to do multiplayer, and we're trying not to delve too much into the controversy again, but had a chance to give kind of an economics lesson at the end of not the most recent released episode, but the one before that, on the way the loot boxes stuff kind of plays out. And I think people were freaking out, and some of it was valid and some of it not. But a lot of it came down to, where do you want them to get the money from for all the things you want from your games?
Right.
Was sort of the thing. It was the I understand you want us to still have PlayStation 3 era prices. That's cute. But you also don't want paid DLC, so where do you want the money to come from? But I think there's a difference, I guess, between the concept of microtransactions versus microtransactions that actually affect progression, which is kind of a different kind of deal, which I guess is where the biggest issue is. So EK from Australia says hi. EK is awesome because EK just bought a copy of a Saga on Home Video, which is cool because I think I've sold a few in Australia, but that's the first time that I actually have had somebody from Australia, I think, pick it up and let me know. Certainly from a streaming perspective. And EK or somebody, I can't remember if it was EK or one of the others, asked me on the last stream when I started on doing anything on YouTube. I looked it up between streams like I said I would. My first video, bit of salami or something. I had something in my tooth that I was like, what the heck just started to come out of my mouth? I'm so classy. But
yeah, you are.
Yeah, I looked it up. It was a guide that I made to a certain escalation mode trophy to get on Transformers War for Cybertron on PS3 that I recorded with my old netbook's webcam sitting in my underwear drawer, leaning up and facing the TV. That apparently I uploaded on in late December of 2011. So I've apparently been doing the YouTube thing for about 6 years now, but it was really not until getting into mid 2012 and then onward into like 2013 that things really got going. Because it's all about spin-offs, right? I mean, that's what you and I have done. I mean, you've podcasted for ages. You've had tons of different titles for different podcasts and stuff that you've done, right? Things Are Looking Up, right. Adventures of Indiana Jim. it's not it's one career, but you can switch between projects, and
that's right.
It's still the same thing. It still counts as an ongoing experience, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike those podcasts out there that say they were like we were the first Star Wars podcast, not to name any names or anything, but how they weren't even the first Star Wars podcast on their own website, which was kind of funny. But that's a whole different thing. Season of The Last Jedi. You and I haven't spoken, I don't think, at least in any detail on a stream, since they actually began Season of The Last Jedi and dropped the regular time challenges in favor of the Last Jedi challenges.
Right.
What do you think so far? What you're looking forward to most for next week when pretty much everything drops? And any particular thoughts on those people that are already on the forum saying, I can't believe Season of The Last Jedi is just a bunch of challenges. This is stupid because they're too ridiculous to research?
Yeah, I don't know. That's that's the internet for you. You get a bunch of dummies with internet access, and this is what happens.
Ooh, you should publish something that's like Internet for Dummies.
Right.
Everybody would buy it, right?
I should think of it. Yeah,
perfect
that
target audience. But there probably already is such a thing.
I'm sure no one's thought of that title at all. Or how not to internet when you are a dummy. That would be better.
Yes.
But now, I haven't seen a lot of that comment. I've seen a lot where obviously they think the challenges are stupid or they're too hard. Oh, I don't have time to get 50 kills with each class, and I'm thinking, well, it's not for you.
It also doesn't take very long to get 50 with each class unless you're really not very good.
Or you get maybe 5 minutes a day, you know?
But you can't say that because it'd be like, don't tell me to get good. Like,
right?
Okay.
No one would.
I didn't spell it
G-U-D,
G-U-D, so I didn't mean it that way.
Right. I call it learn and adapt like a normal human being.
Well, now, would you agree though with the criticism of the whole thing about getting 50 kills with each class that they should at least on the page that shows you your progress separate it by class so you know which ones you've done it with? Because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to I'm at 156. I haven't the foggiest idea which ones I still need to do. So all I can do is do it and then back entirely out of the game because it won't show me the progress on that one on the progress screen.
Right.
Go look at it and see if it went up, and if so, keep using that class, and if not, don't. So.
Right. And that's a UI error probably, or something maybe they.
A urinary infection?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a UTI. Sorry, my bad.
Right.
My bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My bad. And I got some.
Your bad, as it often is.
As it often is, as it always is, right? So let's see. JL asking about thoughts on Han Solo coming back. I actually think we talked about that on the last stream that you and I did together. If you got any thoughts to add to that, and then official opinion says that.
Wait, what thoughts to what? Sorry.
So thoughts to Han Solo coming back.
Oh.
And his phrase is coming back is like Han the White, basically coming back Gandalf-esque.
My thought of that, dumb. That is dumb. Yeah, no. Thank you very much. We are not. This is not the Lord of the Star Wars. No, Han Solo's not coming back. Harrison Ford is not coming back. He's done.
Yeah.
Let him go. Let him retire from Han Solo.
So he can now go on and be Indiana Jones again and die on that
Solo. Right, don't let Han Solo kill Harrison Ford like Princess Leia killed Carrie Fisher.
Too
soon, maybe.
Damn.
Maybe too soon, but
damn.
Yeah.
Although she did talk about how the Hollywood life and the instant stardom thing, the huge rise to stardom, did play into some of the mental issues she ran into and the substance abuse issues. So there's an extent to which that is an accurate, if a snarky statement. But I would argue it's a creative statement. It's a creative way of putting a fundamental truth.
Right. If you're going to resurrect Han Solo, you might as well resurrect that Ewok that dies in Return of the Jedi and we're all sad over. And
when everybody's crying like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why don't we just start talking about resurrecting Obi-Wan and Yoda? And I mean, really,
right, dude,
come on.
We should. If you're going to do that, you might as well resurrect Palpatine. Dark Empire. Our bad.
Which, honestly, I could be down with, because the Palpatine and the clones and everything else. I mean,
Yep.
Cloning is still canon, and
yeah.
No, I'm not saying that it would be okay for them to clone Han Solo.
now we're going to get the Snoke as a clone of Palpatine thing. We have a lot of interesting new Snoke spoilers thanks to the visual dictionary being leaked on Reddit. I'm not going to go into it here because I don't want to spoil it for people, but if you look that up, Snoke visual dictionary spoilers Reddit, holy crap. I'm kind of intrigued and excited about it, but I think it's not something we should get into yet. So EK asked, are you a collector too? Now, I don't think you collect the home video stuff, right? So what do you collect, if anything, for Star Wars?
I'm not really a collector. I don't really have the space to put things these days that I would collect. I have a few knickknacks here and there, but, that's just not my thing.
Cool. Yeah, my thing, I mean, if I hadn't done the timeline for 20 freaking years now, I don't know that I would have collected all the books that I did, or that I wouldn't have necessarily perhaps shifted over to ebooks and stuff like that, It's like it became a collection because it was kind of necessity, and then stayed a collection. But yeah, I can't imagine a lot of the stuff. I mean, it's bad enough with the books and the home video stuff in my Star Wars office that now have caused me to have to turn everything on their side and double shelf things because I'm running out of space already. I can't imagine trying to collect a lot of the big stuff like, say, Arnie and Marjorie do from Star Wars Action News with all the figures and all the different statues and just everything. I just don't have the space for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like to live Star Wars. I don't like to collect dust on Star Wars.
Was that a jab at Lucas between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace again? You don't like dust to collect on Star Wars? No?
I don't jab at George. I have too much respect for him. Unlike some fans in this community, I use the word fan loosely.
Now, would you say does that mean that's criticism is unfair in general? You're not a Lucas apologist that just he can do no wrong. You just argue that it shouldn't be just hate for hate's sake. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Just making sure, because you never know. You could turn out to be a...
And I think...
I would have had to pull a Padme, I don't know you anymore kind of thing, but...
Well, there's a line between fair criticism and, oh, George Lucas raped my childhood. That's stupid crap.
We were just talking about that last time. All right,
it's just like, get over yourself, man.
Let me ask you a couple of these, because you got a couple questions for you, actually, before they disappear, since they're kind of scrolling. We have how many copies of Star Wars do you own? And do you have a particular opinion on the new fanfare they had on the digital collection that removed the 20th Century Fox thing for all but A New Hope, and kind of truncated the music? Any thoughts on that?
I have the Blu-ray box set with Anakin on the front, and that's it.
Wow. None of new films?
Oh, well, no, I mean, sorry, of the 6, and then of course I've got the Rogue One, the collector's. I forget which one it came. Which
the 3D
one
collector's edition thing.
No, it's the one that's got the different cards you can switch in and out for the cover of the film.
Oh yeah, for Rogue One. Sorry, yeah, the Target one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right, and in those instances, like you'll collect every single one. I will favor the one that gives more content.
Yes. Yeah. That was what I did for a long time too, though.
Right. Not Steelbooks or. Right. And by the same token, though, you cover Star Wars in a media sense, and so sometimes you get advanced review copy stuff, and you're kind of more on that side. I just get what I want, and I get the one thing that I want, and that's it.
Well, to be fair, unfortunately, I've never gotten a home video release early. It's been books, but it is something and saves some money, so it's okay. So Force Awakens?
Yeah, Force Awakens. I got the Target edition that time, and I ended up giving that to a friend because I want to get the 3D one that's got the commentary on it, even though I don't have a 3D TV.
Right. And that's what a lot
moment.
of people did, though. A lot of people were like, I want the extra bonus features and I want the commentary. I don't care about the 3D disc. I'm never going to buy a 3D TV. Are you kidding me? You know, I mean,
right? Yeah.
that's a valid thing. And that's what pissed people off. It was like, it wasn't even buy it now buy it again in 3D.
Right.
Now it was
and
buy it again and get extra stuff and everything you bought before, rendering your previous copy redundant.
Right. Exactly. Buy another Steelbook because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I don't go in for like a lot of collectible packaging because again, I don't collect things to take up dust or take up space. And just to me that's dead money. You know.
He's got a level head under that fedora.
Yeah, again, other people, you know, view it differently, and that's fine. You know, I don't tell people not to spend the money. You know, that's cool. Some people collect cars. You know, I don't know, whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this, but
yeah, just okay.
And my son keeps trying to get my attention, and it's really annoying.
He's watching. If he's watching the stream, he's watching me die and run around randomly.
Probably.
Another
yes.
question came for you. Is would you ever buy the digital versions of the films? And I'm assuming that is sort of a, like, not necessarily from a content standpoint, but from a content standpoint if you like, but in terms of, you know, a digital version as opposed to having a physical one that you have, like, in hand.
Right. So, you know, it just kind of depends. I tend to like having the physical copy because, you know, servers go down and whenever the government decides to shut off the internet someday, you know, I want to be able to watch it, put a physical disc in, not have to stream something or whatever. But as far as buy a digital version, if it's cheaper and it gives me the content I want, sure. But a lot of times the discs and things have more content, you know, and that's what I'm after. I like the special features. I like the documentaries.
Cool.
You know, going back to the truncated version of the opening stuff, I really don't care because that's not the movie. You know, obviously there's a little bit of sentimental value to the original fanfare, but it's like, so what? I mean, you know, it just doesn't even register with me, really.
It's almost like that wipe in Revenge of the Sith where they changed the wipe to a cut or the cut to a wipe and then undid it for the Blu-ray, and it was the only change to Revenge of the Sith, and it's like, oh, it's a new version. Man, should that even be called a new? Oh, come on.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing. Right as Obi-Wan and C-3PO are leaving Mustafar, and you see the ship move, and you go to the point where he's like doing the stroking his beard in thought thing. Mm-hmm. There's I guess right after that, there's a transition that was once a wipe that became a regular cut, and then went back to a wipe again or something when it went from theater to DVD and then to Blu-ray. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I do think, by the way, you mentioned an interesting thing, though. I'm pretty sure that Servers Go Down is the name of a dirty movie filmed in an Applebee's.
There's children watching the stream.
That's true. That's true. That's right along with my joke about Ray's, Ray's line that she always says. But I'll leave it. Let's see. And yeah, I think it was like. I'd have to go back and look at it, but yeah, official says that Revenge of the Sith had some other visual changes. I think the visual changes though weren't, if I remember correctly, it's between the theatrical and the original release, which happened with a couple of the other ones, rather than between DVD and Blu-ray. If I'm remembering correctly,
right.
It's been a while since I've looked at it.
Yeah, going back real quick to to buying digital versions,
yes,
if most of the time now you buy the Blu-ray, you get the digital copy with it. Which I do like.
Star Wars. For 1 through 6
the original
still.
Star Wars? Really?
Yeah, because the digital rights are with Disney, and except for A New Hope, and
Fox,
the physical rights are with 20. Well, the physical rights are with. Got a cat trying to eat my LAN cable. Now the physical rights. Okay, all distribution rights for A New Hope are with 20th Century Fox in perpetuity. Digital. Physical doesn't matter. All physical distribution rights for 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 are with 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment until 2020, whereas the digital rights are with Disney. So they don't combine them. Although we just saw them this freaking week put out the Disney films and the 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment films in similar coordinated packaging, all with Forces of Destiny, which is a Walt Disney Home Video thing. So for the love of God, why can't they make that kind of package? But it would have to be some kind of like Spider-Man-esque deal or something.
Yeah.
Although Spider-Man would be cool to, get a digital copy of Spider-Man if you buy Star Wars. Yeah, that would make sense.
What I have done is I did basically rip copies of the theatrical versions of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and I hadn't gotten through the other ones yet, but basically just for my own, to have them on my computer so I could watch them without fooling with the disc or whatever, or get them on my media server. And
Yep. Cool. Yeah, it's odd. Like, I don't tend to watch digitally most of the time unless it's a streaming service like Netflix or something. So I'm not usually ripping things, but when it comes to something like an old VHS, I always try to digitize that sort of thing, even if I'm not going to necessarily watch it anytime soon, because I'm just so concerned about VHS deteriorating. But I guess you really don't have to worry about that with DVD or Blu-ray and stuff like that now. You don't have to worry about like Laserdisc rot kind of stuff.
Right.
So for me, in a lot of ways, it's sort of an if I'm a collector, I'm going to collect it physically. And digitally, I watch other stuff digitally. I watch plenty of stuff digitally. It's just that there's some things I'll get physical and others not. Like comic books. Like all of my Star Wars comics that I get are physical copies, and I'm also getting the digital copies. So I'm being billed twice and then giving the digital copy just to Mark that comes with the comic. So we can keep up with things. But like any other comics that I read, that's all digital on Comixology now, or on the Dark Horse app, like for Serenity. I don't even think about it. Or books, if it's not a Star Wars book. I mean, my Kindle and my Nook are full of all kinds of books. I don't even give it a second thought anymore.
Yeah. With what I've done is I've like Serenity, I've bought the hardcover omnibus editions of those.
Nice. And
so I'm probably going to collect the hardcover omnibus editions of the different series that they come out with once they're available, just because they they'll last longer, a little better for posterity. And you read comic books enough times and they get ink all over your fingers, and plus there's the length issue. It's like, okay, I can read this one in 5 minutes and then I got to pick up the next one to read that if I want to continue reading the story,
Right. Now, you bring up a point that is, I would say, an interesting point, but I actually don't think it's interesting so much as you bring up a point that I've talked about plenty of times and not interesting, which is, you said omnibus editions. That's how I say it now. It's because I don't know if it's actually omnibuy or omnibuses. Which is it? Do you know what it's supposed to be? I have no idea.
I believe omnibuy would be technically, grammatically accurate, because
so it's a Latin word, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know it's because it's masculine in Latin. If it's an US, it becomes an I. I'm like, okay, that's Latin, but it just sounds odd. But so does omnibuses.
So what I say is omnibus editions.
Editions, exactly. That's what I'm taken to doing. I don't want to screw it up and have somebody tell me that's not how it's said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Please, I mispronounce crap all the time. I live in Georgia now, so I have a mixture of an Indiana and a Georgia accent now. So my pronunciation is crap.
But nobody pronounces things as poorly as Mr. Hurleman, though.
Sometimes he trips. I'm like, come on, Mark.
Because Mark drives me nuts with the stuff that he says. Like,
the pronunciation.
It's not Koran horn, it's Koran. It's got 2 R's.
But see, I always called him Koran. I called him Koran until I heard Stackpole say it once. I mean, that's not, it's Han and Han. Come on, Jim. Or Jeem. Whatever.
Yeah, but,
be nice, Jeem.
Yes. So there's no grammatical rule for single A.
Illinois,
Jim. If it's not specified, it could be either, right? If it's not specified. But if it's a double consonant in the English language, it implies the stress on the first syllable.
Cool.
Sorry.
I hear you.
I am the self-appointed grammar Nazi.
I was going to say,
You will
semicolon
pronounce it correctly, or you will face the Inquisition.
Semicolon Heil, dang.
Right.
EK, email me, nathan@starwarsfanworks.com, and or just message me through YouTube, and we can set something up. That sounds very cool. I appreciate that.
And he might get back to you. No, just kidding.
I get back to people all the time. That's actually why some people
when
when
they text you at the proper cell phone number.
That too, Jim. You need to actually have my right cell phone number if you're going to text me. You notice I'm much more responsive now than in previous times when you were texting a phone number that I haven't had in like 3 years. That was really good.
Nathan's such an elitist.
I was such an asshole that I wasn't answering anything that you texted to my old phone that I haven't seen in years. How dare I? Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happens whenever I don't put the number up on my Facebook page or something publicly. Like people are like, did you change your number? Like, oops. And we changed and we don't even have a landline anymore. So like I'll tell you what sucks though. So you change your number, you change your address and all that stuff, right? So we moved and we changed our address and we changed it on everything for our insurance, especially since they are our homeowner's insurance. Somehow it didn't get changed for our car insurance, which it turns out would have meant we would be saving money every month because of our new address. But it wasn't changed on that one part of our insurance. So I'm not good at dealing with change, not because I can't deal with change, but because I always forget to change my information somewhere or make someone aware. It's like, oops, my bad. I'm surprised I'm not still... Well, no, I take it back. I was about to say I'm surprised I'm not still getting emails from my old school, but for a while there I did. For a while there, every time there was a faculty meeting, I would get an email from the school I used to work at, and I would get basically shit list emails every now and then from schools where I teach online, some of their students who are like, you didn't take attendance today. I'm like, I'm not in your building, back off. And you tell it, and by like the 7th time you tell them the same thing, finally you're just like, yeah, I didn't take attendance today, my bad, screw it. Whatever. Can you send so-and-so to the office next time I'm there in a month or so? Maybe. Probably ought to ask somebody else to do that, though.
So they don't realize you're off-site.
Yeah, they have no idea. Because the faculty, and I think that's the thing that's a big deal down here, that because the Atlanta area has so many different school systems, and because there is such a transient population anyway in the Atlanta area, and then you've got all the other bullcrap that teachers are dealing with these days. By the same guy that just killed me. But because of all that kind of stuff, you might have a school that has almost half of its teachers, or a little bit less than half, change year to year down here. Like every year, like I work, one of the things that I do that I don't think I've ever really talked about in the chat, I oversee a group of teachers who oversee some online courses to help integrate new teachers into our county and get them what they need professional development-wise, but also just information about the county to help them just maneuver within the county. And because I do that, I get a copy of the new hire list every year to see how many new people we hired and what schools they're in and stuff like that. So I know who to contact or who to have them contact. And I want to say in just our county alone, we've got anywhere between like 800 and 1,000 new teachers coming into our county every single year. And that's just at the beginning of the school year, not the ones who come in mid-year. So I can imagine them not knowing that I'm in there, but it's when I've already told them that repeatedly, and it's the same person, they're like, dude? Or when it's an automated system where all you have to do is take my name off a checklist and I'll never get those emails ever again, and they don't ever bother to take my name off the checklist.
Right.
That's what gets me. Or it says Fulton Virtual Economics right next to the name of the class when the person in the office looks up the schedule to figure out who to contact to tell them to come to the office. Right. And I'm like, there was a clue word in there somewhere. But I'm too nice to be a jerk about it. I'm just like, I'm actually not in your building. I would suggest contacting the lab facilitator or something, nice and helpful like that, rather than saying, damn it, I done told you twice already. I am not down your hallway. Although, it'd be funny if I was going to quit and do, kind of do some crazy quitting thing, like a half-baked kind of thing. Or no, Dazed and Confused kind of thing. There would have to be something like tell somebody, oh yeah, come and tell me that to my face.
Right.
And then like,
well, you got to be careful. You might be accused of some cultural appropriation, Nathan, with your accent there, sir.
Shoot, I teach so many students for so many different backgrounds now that I think I can get away with just about any accent. 'Cause I've heard them all, and I've heard some really, really, really bad, so completely unaccented voices. A lot of times from adults who just cannot speak for crap. I always felt like I needed to be the grammar Nazi, and now I'm like, no. Unless we're doing something like now, we'll create digital content for the students, and I'll be like, that is not where you put the question mark. Yeah. Then I'm like the kids are going to see this? And I don't care. You know, yes, I know that the kids talk in text speak so much of the time that the kids don't use the proper punctuation when they're doing stuff sometimes. But this is school, man! Even when I send emails to my students, I'm like, oh, gotta go back and check for that semicolon. That's not a comma, that's a semicolon. But I've gotten to the point where my students know me well enough now that, like, today we got a little bit of snow, and I'm like, you have no idea how hard it is that I'm fighting not to make a Hoth reference. And I had a couple of students email me back and go, one, I think that kind of counts as a reference, and two, oh, we could totally tell. Like, yep, thank you very much. It's like, they know me well enough. Like, I had a student who was like, so I know that December 15th is our last day to work in the classes. I'll make sure to ask any questions before you and your wife go see the movie. I'm like,
nice.
Wait a second. Did I say I was going to see the movie? Like, no, we just know you're going to see the movie. Like, but of course.
They don't have to ask.
It's like, you don't have to ask. Because what I did was I created a video that's like an introduction to the teacher, and I showed them some of the stuff that I had worked on in like the book and whatnot. But it's against the same backdrop, because it's the only place I can do it, really. It's the same backdrop as when I do my YouTube videos, so it's got all the Star Wars books behind me. So it's like I either explain that, or they're going to be like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah, yeah. I don't even have tickets yet.
Now, you realize what's going to happen if you try to go see the movie and you're not prepared like that, right? They're going to grab you and toss you and say, no ticket. Come on, Indiana! Ouch. Ouch. That hurts. That hurts.
Well, you crossed the streams, Ray.
Yeah. I really hope that they had multiple urinals in the bathroom at that firehouse too, so that they weren't crossing the streams. Don't cross the streams. Although it was funny because the one time, I forget where I was. I was in a restroom at some like out of the way restaurant place. I'm not even sure it was like a restaurant. It was like a big building that used to be something else, and it became a restaurant and had another couple of businesses in it. And the restroom for it was a giant trough urinal. Like, not separate ones, a giant trough.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and there is this old dude. I mean, just old guy. He's kind of humming to himself and everything as he's peeing on the far end. And I walk in, and I'm peeing on the other far end. And he zips up, and he kind of smirks, and he goes, don't cross the streams. And he walks out, and I'm like, this guy's got to have been, like, already hitting retirement when Ghostbusters came out. I mean, this guy was nearing mummification, and I'm like, that is awesome. You are amazing. I hope I am that still that geeky and amusing when I am your age.
Well, I mean, Star Wars is 40 years old, and we're all about it, you know.
What?
So.
What'd you say? Yeah.
I said we're not the first generation to be Star Wars fans. That's what I think I said.
Question here, or a comment here from Indy. The other Indy, right? Different Indy. Different Indy.
What?
This is Indy Defense. Indy Defense says, being a Star Wars guru, it must be awkward when a Star Wars movie comes out, everyone looking at you and asking questions. It's funny because, like, because of the way that, like, for me at least, the way that, oh crap, it's Yoda. The way that my experience has been, because so much of my interaction now is through social media or, like, online, I'm not necessarily around, you know, what do they call them? People. I'm not around people as often.
People.
that I still tend to get the questions, but it tends to be in a context where it's just we're already having a discussion, or it's on a Facebook page where we talk about it anyway. But it's interesting to see stuff. It's not so much the questions that get me, it's the stuff that you're just like, no. And my wife knows this, which is why my wife will not let go of Ezra is Snoke. And every time he shows up on screen in Rebels, she says, "Hi, Snoke," every time.
Jodie is a national treasure. She really is.
That she is. Yeah, so we had, and I don't mean in the Nicolas Cage movie sense. I mean in the good way.
In
the good way. But, yeah, what gets me is just the times where it's just like, no, that's not it at all, or something. But, yeah, like, I'll have people at work who know I'm into who are like, so what did you think of this? But it's always an interesting thing because they sort of know, I guess, now how deeply I'm into it to some degree. Like, they know about the book, for instance. So they'll be like, so what did you think of this? But they'll do it in a context where it's like almost like a critical context kind of thing. Like, not critical as in bad, but like a deeper thought kind of question. I'm like, well, and I'll be able to answer as opposed to being like, so did you see the movie? No shit. You know, I don't want to do that.
Right.
That'd be unpleasant. But did you pick up every once in a while, like, and I'll see this too, it's funny because, you know, there'll be people who are brand new, for instance, to the YouTube channel, because everybody's new at some point. And they'll say, why are we going, we're going to the wrong, no, we got to go up here. I'm getting, destroy the turbo tanks. Which turbo tank? It's the other turbo tank. That's my problem.
The
other
one, goob.
I'm like running over here like, what am I doing? Where did I spawn?
I was looking for your green arrow. I was like, where is he? What's he doing over there?
I had to go do something else.
Something else.
There he goes. But no, like, it'll be like, so have you ever picked up the movie on home video? And I'm like, let me tell you something. And I try to be, you know, like, and here, you know, and, you know, in fact, I wrote a book on, you know, and try to be, you know, I've learned the art of, and it's the same thing you get with teaching, you know, you learn the art of tactfulness. Because, I mean, I've had students who have actually asked me the question, and it's not a joke. They actually asked it. It sounds like it's a joke, but I've had students who have asked me why it is that Hawaii is so warm and Alaska is so cold, because they're right next to each other on the map. Because they're down in those little boxes in the corner of the frickin' map. And I've had them ask me that seriously. And you can't look at a child and say, what is wrong with you? Because the things that we take for granted, I mean, I don't know what this kid's experience, but I don't know what facts I can take for granted that they know or have ever had experience with or seen.
Right.
I mean, it's like me. Well, you know, there are certain things I'll run into from time to time. Like, I'm like, what are you even talking about? Because I've got students who have, for instance, like students talk about, you know, cooking. I had some students who are really into culinary stuff. But a couple of the students are from, like, one's from Vietnam, and one is from, I think it's India. And they talk about some of the types of food and like what, and things that they take as just some of the basis, you know, the basis of a lot of dishes. I'm like, what is that? You know, you never quite know what somebody's walking in with, but at the same time, I was just like, they're boxes on the map. But once you hear something like that, you learn, you know, the tact is fine, you know. And it helped my podcasting, too, because you used to listen to Chrono Radio, right? You know I used to be a complete douchebag.
We just made it. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Woo.
Beginning final phase.
Yeah, overtime, we got it. Yeah. I do like the overtime feature. I do think it's pretty cool. Snoke is Mason Verger from the movie Hannibal, is the theory. I don't know who that is because I saw Hannibal so long ago I don't remember anything about it. But I will take your word for that.
I don't know what that means, but it must be hilarious.
I don't know what that means, sir, but it must be pretty bad to me. That's the old Forrest Whitaker line from Good Morning Vietnam, right? When they said that it, the thing about the corpse and the spheroids.
Right.
Good question, EK. EK asks if students watch my videos. Sometimes I run into students who have run into my stuff, but not as often. What's crazy is that a lot of times it's less likely that a student will have seen my video, read my comic, or anything like that. It's usually the parent that has. So I've signed comics for parents before, which has been pretty cool. The kids are usually like Star Wars. I mean, but this is all like, before The Force Awakens and stuff like that. I have no idea how many, if any, watch now. Right. I know at least some of them have visited nathanpbutler.com, but it's not because of anything I've written. It's because I've got Study Guide podcast hosted on that server so that if they want to study, they can listen to the economics or the history or the government information. I have no idea how many have actually checked out other stuff. Used to be hosted on the school's website, and it got buried in a redesign, and I never found it again. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put it on my site. It's okay. I'll just tell them up front, I don't care if you look at anything else on it, but here's a link to it. You're fine. Use it. And they have to delete the directory. For the link that I give them, they have to delete a directory name anyway to see anything about what I've written. God dang it, will you... Tanks a lot. There was a tank in front of me, and I couldn't barely move, so I was getting killed. And then the tank exploded in front of me, so it's okay.
And then you punned on purpose.
Yes, I did. What? A pun that's on purpose. With me, I must pull a Jack Nicholson, A Few Good Men on you and simply ask, is there another kind?
The clones retook the rear pipes.
Favorite movie, by the way. One of my favorite movies, A Few Good Men. Awesome stuff. JL asks, this is Jack, JL asks, hey Jim, what 90s shows did you grow up on? And I guess part of it is also, I don't recall our age difference, if there is an age difference. I was born in 79.
Yeah, I was 77, so...
Okay, so there's a 2-year age difference.
But
so
you were like August, or what were...
I was October of 79.
Okay.
The day that the U.S. Department of Education was founded, no joke.
Wow.
It was like my fate was decided before I ever got to choose. How very Luke-esque or something. Except I never whined about power converters that I know of. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been 90s stuff. I guess you were growing up on it. Would have been primarily 80s stuff, like mostly with me. But that's about what 90s shows you grew up on. So 90s shows that were kind of your thing.
Well, so I remember a lot more 80s TV shows. As far as growing up, because
Ray just
but I guess Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a 90s TV show. Saved by the Bell, and a lot of Sports Center.
And a lot of Sports Center. That's a very different thing from me. Nowadays, I might watch it because Jody's got me into. I told you Jody's got me into hockey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the fact that there is.
I'm so sorry.
there is a contest going on right now to figure out who is the most authentic Chicago Blackhawks fan, and the hashtag you're supposed to use when you provide like a picture is Blackhawks AF, which I find hilarious. I'm sure they did it on purpose. Yes. Yeah, I love. Yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was the bomb. Loved the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that was a show that could make you laugh, and then there were episodes that would make you dang near want to cry. You know, and it just showed where Will Smith was going, just the sheer talent. Tell you what, you want to jump out of this and jump into Starfighter Assault for a little bit, or what do you want to do?
Sure, yeah.
I can check it. That way I can check on my last Jedi crap that it won't track. It'll tell me I got one done, but it won't tell me the one in progress.
So the, let's see, Disney Afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Those cartoons.
Step right up and come on in. This is where the fun begins.
Right. And then you had the TGIF lineup on ABC, so you had Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, Full House.
They so need to bring back Perfect Strangers. I miss that so much. I mean, they brought back Full House. Give me Balki Bartakamus, please.
Right, we have Fuller House. Why don't we have Perfecter Strangers?
Perfecter Strangers, exactly. or Imperfect Strangers, because now they've known each other for so long. Oh, man. Yeah, Balki Bartakamus was awesome. Yeah. Of course, I don't be ridiculous. Oh, yes. Seeing him in anything else now is just shocking. But man, I missed Perfect Strangers so bad. You mentioned the Disney Afternoon. I actually still have. Okay, I've digitized. I don't think I have the actual cassette anymore, but I still have the Disney Afternoon soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah, with the full version of like the DuckTales and Chip. Did you know that the Chip Rangers? Did you know the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers theme? The full version was by the Jets.
The football team?
No, the 1980s band, the Jets.
Oops, sorry. Oh, what? There was a band called the Jets?
Yes. Oh, great. So apparently I have not been getting any progress because apparently I've already gotten 50 with specialists, so I guess I need to switch to, like, officer or do something else. Thank you for letting me know, game.
Right,
I really appreciate
exactly.
it. I'm at 156. I got 44 more. I haven't the foggiest idea who I need to do it with. I don't think it's heavy. I don't think it's assault. I thought it was specialist. I've been wasting my time. But that's okay. I guess I'll just play the rest as friggin' officer. But not that it matters if we're going to jump into Starfighter Assault anyway, but still.
I'm at 191, so
Ooh.
I think I
Nice.
need 9 more.
Well, do you want? Well, then let's jump back into a Galactic Assault for a second, then.
No,
No?
let's do Starfighter
No?
Assault. 'Cause
Okay.
You don't stream that very often.
I don't. It's because when there's any kind of lag, it causes that weird stuttering thing.
Yeah.
So, and I still need to do more of the destroy with the bombers torpedoes thing, and then I can focus on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was my jam back on the original game, the fighter squadron stuff. There just wasn't enough of it. This is probably my favorite mode. It's just that most of the challenges aren't from it.
Right. Well,
And that's not
I
what
got a
most
lot
people
of
want to
Starfighter
watch. They're
challenges
like,
to work on.
where's the troopers? What happened to the troopers? There's the Starfighter mode. Get out of the city. You know.
Right. Get out of the city! Colson Larry.
Which is either his way of saying get out of town, or he really means get out of the city and like Walking Dead is happening. See ya, EK.
Yeah, no, that's not what he...
And see ya, JL. We got... oh, sorry. EK is heading out. JL is not. Cool.
Well, fine.
See ya, EK.
E.K. Johnson? No.
No. EK Entertainment, who is from Australia, so a very different time zone to be dealing with.
Well, g'day, mate.
We actually had a young lady, Sabrina. I guess a young lady. I don't know. Am I assuming not only gender now, but I'm assuming like ages and stuff? But had someone from Germany on the last stream, actually. Oh, I started as a fighter instead of a bomber. That's okay. I don't care. Let's kill something. Now, do you play in first person mostly or third person in...
No.
No. You realize I just asked you an either or and you said no, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I answered the first thing you asked.
Okay, so no first
I do
person.
I
Me
do
neither.
not play in first person.
Did you ever get a chance to play the VR mode for the first game? That one VR mission?
I think I did, but I don't remember when or where.
Huh. Maybe you just watched it on the stream and then got nauseous because of the way my head moves.
Maybe?
Cool. Could be.
Or maybe I played it in non-VR? Was that possible?
Nope. Nope, not possible.
I feel like I
Yeah.
played it, but I don't have a VR headset, so I don't know how I would have.
He dreamed it. He dreamed it.
I must have.
You know, that's the only way that I can really play this kind of mode in first person is when it's in VR. And even then,
What that reminded me of?
was that
Like, don't you want to watch the movie? I don't need to, Dottie. I lived it.
there you go. Oh crap! I'm chasing after a guy who is smoking, and by that I mean he's hurt,
Right.
not he's hot.
Who thought they were going to get a Pee-wee's Big Adventure reference watching this?
I know.
Anybody?
Whoa! Although now I just want to see if we had done that would have been perfect for like in Galactic Assault. If we'd been on indoor and you were in your speeder bike and it blew up, be like, my bike!
Right.
Or a Lawrence Fishburne reference because, you know, he was on Pee-wee's Playhouse, which is, I'm sure that after
Was he
playing
really?
Othello, yeah, he was the cowboy dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
the cowboy dude on Pee-wee's Playhouse was Lawrence frickin' Fishburne, who played like Othello. I mean,
Right.
think about the breadth and scope of
Morpheus.
that career right there.
Right.
Morpheus / Othello was the cowboy. Oh crap! But then again, I mean, Sir Anthony Hopkins was in the newest Transformers, so I mean, names don't mean
How
as
is
much
this-
in Hollywood anymore.
How's this cruiser not destroyed yet?
I don't know.
thought I saw it blue, but I guess no.
Odds of success
So if it's a public transport as opposed to a republic, like you do the little apostrophe thing, that makes it a PT Cruiser.
Sure.
No. Okay. I need to find out more about Kia Souls is what I need to know. Because I may need to get a Soul. Not because I don't have one, but because a Kia Soul seems to be... That's true. I didn't even realize that. Seems to be close... Well, now I got to have the car, right? I'm trying to figure out types of vehicles to get, and because I'm not sure about being able to get the replacement of the Kia Rio 5, which is what I had, which I've really liked. Somebody recommended the Kia Soul to me, and I was like, they look kind of weird, but the new ones look kind of cool. So yeah, I'll look into it. And have I looked into it? Of course not. Not yet. But I will at some point.
So, your favorite ship in Starfighter Squadron? Or Assault, whatever?
I tend to prefer usually the Interceptor. I need to do more kills with the bomber, though, because I need the milestone done. Because some of us haven't finished the entire yeah.
Well, one thing
and gotten those crystals that you can't use for anything.
Oh, right. No, you can still spend them on loot crates.
I don't have enough yet still. I'm still at like 80. And that's after a bunch of milestones. I would have been able to buy just as many loot crates with as with the crystals as I had, as with and milestones that I did, as if I did it based on gallstones or something. Answer: none. Jack, haven't been able to do squat. And got blown up. I keep being blown up by a guy whose name I know is... I'm assuming the name is Spanish or Portuguese, but it's close enough that each time I see it, I think Covfefe. Which is probably not good. That needs to be like the faction in a new sci-fi series or something like that. For the honor of Covfefe!
Oh, yeah.
Or we find out that, like...
a gift that just keeps on giving, right?
I mean, look, if Palpatine's first name could be Sheev, then surely Snoke's first name could turn out to be Covfefe.
Or Donald.
Or Donald. No! The Snoke is what we have to call him then.
The Snoke.
The Snoke.
He's Captain Snoke.
Well, you know, I used the something when making the analogy about Chuck Wendig in the past, about the Chuck and how he's so different in person versus his social media presence. That was back when I thought there was a difference between the Donald and Donald. There's not as much difference anymore.
No.
Oh shit! Oh, I was so not paying attention. I almost ran into a tower.
Yeah, so I'll give this tip because I don't know if we're going to get there, but on Fondor, what I usually do is the Rebellion is I will go in and I will destroy that first turret right there at the front of the ship, and then I will go underneath the base and I will start taking out all the turrets while everyone's up on top trying to fight each other. I'm taking out the turrets so that when we get to the final stage, we're not taking damage from these stupid turrets firing at us.
Nice.
And then that way you can rack up all kinds of battle points and get a hero ship.
Very cool.
So if anyone wants to use that,
my downside is
check in the mail.
To do a hero ship. I need to basically be flying anything but a bomber right now. And I'm flying a bomber because I need the torpedo kills. And how does a double blast from a bomber's torpedoes not kill something? Just like, how is it 3 shots in the face with a kill streak weapon, a Vanguard weapon, sometimes doesn't kill a regular trooper? Why is everybody a bullet sponge or a blaster sponge?
So now I'm sitting here, I got 3,336 battle points, and all the hero ships are being used.
Oh, seriously? Seriously, I not only wore this guy down, I then fired the torpedo and continued wearing them down as the torpedo chased them, and when the torpedo finally hit them, didn't kill them. Still.
Oh.
I hate this milestone. This milestone is like a kidney stone. the one where you got to get X number of kills with the double proton torpedo thing with the bomber, the R1 button ability with the bomber.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
Ugh, it is so terrible.
I almost had it. I was too slow. By far, my best villain hero ship is Darth Vader, and my best hero ship is Rey and Chewbacca's Falcon.
Danger. Enemy bombers
Yeah.
incoming.
Cool.
Because
Very
Han and Chewie's got the turret, but they don't have the health regen on that one. So
Cool.
I do better with the one that's got the health regeneration.
Why is it that whenever there's something crazy going on, a droid starfighter sounds like a Jawa? And did they train in the same language? Really?
Yeah, hey, that's pretty good.
Official opinion had an interesting opinion that I agree with, I think. That the Galactic Assault maps would be cool on Starfighter Assault the way they did in the first game. If they did it the way in the first game where, like, you're flying actually over the battlefield that you flew in on the other mode. Because it is very distinct. I mean, there really isn't a connection this time between the locations. I mean, they're same planets, but that's about it.
Right.
Oh, crap! I'm just flying on through. Probably ought to go try to kill somebody, but I know it's not going to work with that there torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I haven't budged from like 13 to 1,500 battle points in like 3 deaths because I'm just not doing any good with the frickin' bomber. I just don't like that, and it's the droid bomber too. Like the Y-wing's not so bad, but man, this droid bomber sucks. Actually, I'll tell you what. Say what?
I was gonna say, I don't like the TIE Interceptor, but I love the Tri-Fighter. The droid Interceptor. Whereas I love the Y-wing bomber, and I do okay with the droid bomber, but I hate the stupid TIE bomber too. It's awful.
Hate this type? Yeah.
And I think
but most of the bombers
TIE Interceptor, the TIE Interceptor just overheats way too quickly. It drives me crazy.
There we go. TIE Interceptor, as advertised and by spokeswoman Paris Hilton. Why? Because it's hot, or at least its blasters are. Wasn't that her catchphrase?
I mean, what makes you think that I'm gonna know anything about Paris Hilton?
Because it was a pop culture joke all over the place.
What
I
makes
know
you
nothing
think
about
I
Paris
know
Hilton
anything
myself,
about pop
but I know
culture?
plenty about pop culture. Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll give that to you.
I mean, I'm a fuddy-duddy, Nathan. And I just used the word fuddy-duddy, so.
Yeah, as I say, I think that's a self-proving thing. If you call yourself a fuddy-duddy, then you have just access the fuddy-duddy vocabulary. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Ben saying nice shirt. I got Superman shirt going on. This is actually something I got at Walmart, in Indiana when I was up there. Never have seen them here, but they had a bunch of it's the symbols for the superheroes plus the little bands of some kind. So it looks a little bit different than the typical kind where it's just the symbol. Oh, yeah. I avoided being blown up by a missile by us losing. Is that good?
No.
Haha! I have saved my life, but we have lost the war. Whew. I love that TIE silencer though. That is so cool looking. I've just got the miniature sitting on the table. Well, it's not even open, but the miniature just arrived today for the X-Wing game, sitting on the table in the living room.
I can't wait to actually see it in the movie.
I know. Watch it turn out to be crap. It'll be like Phasma.
All right, so I'm going to mention something from the campaign. If you haven't played the campaign of Battlefront 2, plug ears for 5 seconds. So more than 5 seconds, probably 30 seconds. I'm wondering if they're going to find themselves in a situation where Iden has turned, to the don't listen because you're going to hear it. because there's a delay. There's a delay. There's a delay. Keep your ears covered till I'm done.
Protect the children.
Right, if they're going to have an Aiden good guy version, and then they're going to have to end up with a Rey dark side version because she's turned to the dark side.
That'd be cool.
And we don't know that she has. We do not know that she has.
Have some different types of Yeah, well, they did that with interesting to see it in the game and such as well, but they did that with X-Wing recently, the X-Wing miniature game, when they put out the ship that's basically Nim from it's Nim from the Starfighter video game. They gave, because he starts out as a mercenary and then joins the rebels. They gave him like some mercenary and some rebel deployment cards so he could be used with either faction, because they recognize that at different points in the saga he's different things. I'm like, that is so amazing they actually did that. So it could happen. It would require EA and DICE and them doing something right. But from a gameplay standpoint, for the most part, they've done things right. It's just a progression system that's a little funky, and the microtransactions, and constantly shooting themselves in the foot anytime they answer any questions in public. That's what EA needs to hire Sean Spicer. That's what they need to do. So every time something happens, they can just be like, he never said it. I don't know where you're getting that. What are you going to believe your lying eyes reading the tweet or what I'm saying to you? That's what you need, Sean Spicer as the spokesperson for EA. That would be awesome. I saw Beverly Hills 90210. I'm not seeing why.
90s TV show?
Oh, showing the age. 90s TV show. Beverly Hills 90210. Never really watched it. My sister did quite a bit. Never watched Melrose Place at all. But I still am of the age where it's like when Jeremiah premiered, I was like, oh my God, it's Luke Perry. And now I'm like, Riverdale, oh my God, it's Luke Perry. And he's old. That kind of thing.
Right.
But you know that, and I'll repeat this joke because it was just too good the other day that I saw on social media, so I take no credit for it. You realize that it's easy to remember Beverly Hills' area code because of the show, right, with 90210. But it's also easy to remember Dawson's Creek's area code or zip code, because Dawson Creek zip code is a 90108 for our lives to be. Anyway, 90108. Yes, no, yes, no. Come on.
Right.
Yep. Oh, Smallville equals Beverly Hills 90210. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Smallville was so much better than just being Beverly Hills 90210 with superheroes. But I can see, because it is like the teenage thing. They are in high school at first, and then he's at Metropolis U and everything.
Kansas is more like a 6 series, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's not even...
I don't know. Let's see. And JL asked about, what about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? I personally watched like the first series until Tommy became the White Ranger, and then I saw the first movie and then watched really nothing afterwards until the most recent reboot movie. Were you a Power Rangers guy? I mean, I was a Voltron guy way before Power Rangers, but were you a Power Rangers too?
We're too old for Power Rangers, man.
Yeah, we're a little too old for the... Yeah. Like, I mean, you especially, Voltron, you were 2 years older, and 2 years is like a lifetime in terms of kid shows.
Inspector Gadget.
Oh, Inspector Gadget, yes. And then you got, Thundercats was awesome. The reboot, not so much, but the original was pretty awesome.
Yeah. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which I believe wasn't He-Man and the Masters of the Universe the first cartoon show to feature a gay male lead?
Oh, shut up.
It took a second.
Who would that be?
It took a second. And I can't believe after spending so long in the 80s playing Skeletor, I had no idea. After so long in the 80s spending so much time playing Skeletor, that Nancy Pelosi would wind up in the house. I had no idea.
Right? Yeah, I know. I was a little surprised myself.
He-Man! Franken must go!
Right.
You muscle-bound moron!
Ben says, He-Man was my jam. I learned to tell time so I could figure out when it would come on. Now that is dedication right there.
There you go.
Nice.
Educational opportunities for the children.
That's what I'm talking about.
For the children.
That's like, I learned my math by dealing drugs, baby. Wait. No, that isn't right. VR Troopers. I did see VR Troopers for like a few episodes and then I stopped. But yeah, VR Troopers was like the knockoff-ish feeling version. Like everybody was like, oh, VR Troopers is just like Power Rangers with computers. Kind of. See, for me, it was Photon. Do you remember Photon? The wannabe spin-off, the wannabe like takeoff of Laser Tag that got its own TV show?
Nope.
Photon was awesome back in the day.
I barely remember that Laser Tag had a TV show.
I don't think Laser Tag had a cartoon, I think it was.
Yeah. Which was cool. Cool. I liked it.
Yeah. The extra asked if we've seen the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer that came out yesterday.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming
so
you
good.
have.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. It looks so good.
JL asks if we've watched the Magic School Bus. Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't watch Magic School Bus. I think my wife did. A while back when she just needed something to binge watch while I was doing something else from Netflix, she turned on and started watching Magic School Bus. But I don't remember Magic School Bus for nothing. But my wife, who's almost 30, watched it within the last year.
Right.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it a few times, but mostly that was with other children that were much younger than me. I am 40 after all, so. But, you know, I really dig the Wiggles, though, but that's because I have kids.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
You don't have that going for you right now.
I'm just thinking that the Wiggles, aren't they the ones that wobble but they don't fall down? Oh, no, that was Wibbles. My bad.
The Wibble Wobbles.
Well, it's funny because I sort of know a little bit about kids show stuff now because a girl I went to high school with and was on the speech team with is now like a Grammy Award winning kids music person. Kids music
person.
Performer / writer / producer with their own show that they do. If you've ever heard of Lishy Lou and Lucky 2, Lishy Lou is Alicia Gaddis that I went to high school with. Who was back then was like a star on the speech team, and you could see her going in entertainment. But like because of that, sometimes I'll see her posting about things like that, and there might be references to other kids, things like, okay, so now I know that exists. I know nothing about it, but I certainly know that exists. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Nope, I was too old for that one.
Communication array destroyed. Let's clear the air of enemy fighters before we attack the heart of
And I have no idea what Kilho-Con is or Kilo-Con is. Kilho-Con sounds like something you don't want in your town because there's going to be a bunch of like dead prostitutes or something. Probably don't want Kilho. Unless I'm pronouncing that incorrectly.
It's probably an anime or however you pronounce that word.
Anime or anime. It's Aunt May, actually, and apparently Tony Stark finds it hot.
Yeah. So I could pick Han's Falcon right now, Han Chewbacca at level 10. I don't think I'm waiting for my level 21 Rey and Chewbacca. Oh, Luke Skywalker. Fine, let's do it.
And I'm still flying around as a Y-Wing and barely paying attention, so I really need to either start paying attention and just do something to get points, or I need to start paying attention and try to get those bomber kills, because at least I'm not a freaking droid bomber right now. But I'm so busy talking, listening, and reading the chat that I'm just like, I'm just going to fly in circles.
I just want to brag because I just took out Slave 1 with Obi-Wan's guidance.
Nice. I took out Darth Maul a minute ago by shooting at him enough that he ran into something and died. I think that counts.
What? I about ran into something with Luke Skywalker, but I'm getting a lot better at this flying business.
There you go. And yes, comment there. I missed who said it about being disappointed that The Last Jedi novelization is coming out so late. I agree, given the fact that The Last Jedi novelization, though it's by a buddy of mine, it's Jason Fry writing the thing, I believe, that it's coming out so late because they don't want to spoil the film, and yet they're spoiling crap with like a lot of stuff with the visual dictionary this time.
Well,
so
wasn't that somebody did a Walmart and stocked it too early or something?
Something like that. In fact, I'm not even sure if it was. Yeah, because it was. Why did they send it to them so early? Come on, people. But then again, I guess it is Friday. Holy crap! It's this coming Friday. It's a week from today. Or, as far as the book goes. Oh, cool. Very, very cool. So it's Ben that said that about that. And then I thought I saw something else. Oh, something about Tim Curry. I know the Tim Curry. Tim Curry is one of those guys that sometimes I'm like, oh my god, he's so horrible, and other times I'm like, oh my gosh, he's marvelous. Like as Cardinal Richelieu, he dang near made that. But I still like. There are a few movies that'll still give me chills. Like sometimes the Star Wars stuff will, because I know it so well that there's like an emotional connection to it. But still, watching the original Three Musketeers, well, not the original, but watching the Disney Three Musketeers and the Save the King gives me a chill every time still. That is such a great film that is so underrated.
Yeah, my son
It's
and I adore that movie.
fan-friggin-tastic. It is fan-bloody-tastic. And did. Let's see. Alrighty then. My thing was going off here. I'm trying to click it so that I can. Oh well. All right. So I think we're just about at a point where we need to be wrapping. I'm getting phone calls from my wife. It looks like she'll be here. So give me 1 second off stream. Jim, feel free to entertain them, and I'll be right back.
I'm just trying not to die as Luke Skywalker. Trying very hard to get any kills. Yep. So that's one thing that drives me nuts about this Starfighter assault is when you are a hero ship, these people are ruthless. They will chase you forever. And there is an option with the Luke Skywalker X-Wing, of course, that you can get the maneuverability star card. In other words, the same thing the Interceptor star cards or the Interceptor fighters have for turn rate. You can get that with Luke Skywalker's fighter. It's called the Bush Pilot. And with that card, you can increase your turn rate, and so you can basically turn on a dime once you get it upgraded. Darth Vader, I think, has that one as well, because his is technically an interceptor. So what you really want, really with these starfighters, you really want your engine upgrade for sure. If you have reinforced hull, you want to get that for darn sure, because you will have more health. And let's see what else. Maybe tuned lasers if you like to shoot people, if you can shoot people. I like to have them. Anything from speed and maneuverability is pretty crucial. So, not sure what else to tell you about that. Most people know the bombers have good health and good firepower, but very slow speed. Interceptors have pretty fast speed, fairly limited health. Firepower is kind of hit or miss depending on which interceptor you have. The droid interceptor, as I mentioned earlier, I really like. Fire rate's really good. Speed, maneuverability is amazing. For fighters, I really like X-Wings, but I struggle with these clone fighters for whatever reason.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just discussing different options with starfighters, and
nice.
I died with Luke.
Nice. So I just to let everybody know, I'm gonna need to bail. We're gonna have to wrap it short. I was expecting to get a text when my wife was on her way back, because she decided that she was just gonna drive back because the weather wasn't as bad as it was earlier. And instead it was hey, I'm down at the bottom of the driveway walking up now. I was like, oh, well, okay.
Right.
So I'd rather wrap this up. We just lost anyway.
Well, good timing.
Good timing. Good timing there.
Yeah, and I got to go too, so that's good.
Well, there you go. Good timing. All right, folks. So thank you for coming to the stream. Next stream will probably be sometime tomorrow, more than likely, probably sometime afternoon instead of evening. And then probably the next one won't be until next week sometime. Definitely not Sunday. Just don't know quite when it'll be next week because of the crazy schedule. So thank you for coming by. Apologize for the fast getting out of here. But thank you for watching this stream and the last one for some of you. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, Jim. We will do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you for having me, as always.
All right, and Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye-bye.